Hello there, happy podcast people. It's your favorite show back with a short update before our amazing episode 10, where we're cooking up something real special for you. This week, though, we've got Steve in conversation with Christopher Brooks on the Customer Experience Superheroes, or CX Superheroes, podcast. It was a lovely discussion. I just finished listening to it. Super informative, super engaging, and really fun topics like how millennials approach communication. In fact, that little bit is the first one in the following segment. So here we go.
So the leader has quite a responsibility going forward. And I guess that's where they must work very strongly with the management team to ensure that that is echoed through every effort and energy. If organizations are going to have to take a greater stake in society and almost have a civilian charter, a society charter to make a commitment to make things better.
A true contact center is built upon the idea of the client experience. That's the basis of all communication for that purpose. So now with companies like NobleBiz, where we provide omni-channels, multiple channels and ways that I can be communicating with you within the context of any way you choose to communicate with me that makes you, the customer, comfortable in your experience. We can now see that companies in an organized and efficient fashion can now begin again to communicate directly with their customer using the right technology with the right vision and the singular approach to caring.
Technology obviously is getting more and more diverse, more and more coming in to replace kind of key touch points. But I'd imagine, Steve, you'd probably argue, and I think with good cause, that the voice interactions are so much more important for organizations that when they happen, they're the things that we are going to remember. I'm not going to remember the app. I'm not going to remember the website click, but I'm still going to remember the human interaction. So it's got to be its A game every single time, hasn't it?
If only. And I say that because I agree with that. I agree with the fact that the closer you can intimately get with your customer experience, their experience is going to be enhanced. And ultimately, it emphatically underlines, if I know you, I will do for you. Let's say the millennial group today, they're not talking, they're writing. You can't see that necessarily. No, it's not voice, but you also can't just say, well, that's not as good. What you can say is it's a generation built on an awareness of communication, but in a different modus operandi. And that through that, they've gotten very good at conversation through social networking or through text. So we don't diminish the ones that remove us from voice or video. We make those available, but we also make the others available and then creatively find ways to make that an intimate conversation.
There's a great perspective on that, Steve. So just to sort of wrap this up, I mean, the traits you've highlighted, I think obviously having a core value like you do of keeping promises, it makes it easier to be a leader in that place. What a wonderful environment to work in. Going forward, do you think the leader in the contact center needs to evolve, or do they just need to carry on being brilliant at what they do at the moment?
And I think it's not only an evolution, it's a revolution of behavioral change. So honestly, I want to see classes on it. I want to see more training to leadership. I want to remind leadership that through a wholly new behavior of how you communicate internally and externally with the internal and external clients, that you can be successful. But if you refuse and you want to stay in the method of over the last 50 years that has developed, it's not going to survive. And if leadership doesn't understand it or stays remote from it, those businesses are going to be very mediocre.
Great. So they can't rest on their laurels. I like the idea of like a competency framework and helping to develop and nurture and grow people into those leadership roles, rather than perhaps historically just kind of pointing at someone and saying they've got the leadership traits. It's actually developing it.
The CX experience approach to a business, which I would guarantee you that businesses over the last decades would all say they've perfected, is truly not been perfected, as we alluded to earlier. So in that regard, the opportunities it brings for change, for improvement societally and personally are amazing and great for everyone at any given time. But business leaders have to understand that if they don't get it, they don't understand dynamically what that means, and they don't begin to offer management tools to it, that they will become obsolete.
So we've spoken about leadership of the future. Are you able to give us any insights in terms of Noble Biz for the foreseeable future? What are the plans you guys have got going on there?
Yeah, as I said, we're a carrier for the world, for contact centers throughout the world. So they can come to us and get carrier services, telco, different avenues of communication. But over the last 5-6 years, we've built some amazing tools, the contact center calling tools or communication tools that allow them to actually use the carrier service. So now we began that process for contact centers in America. Now we are expanding it. So this year we've added North Africa to our market. We are now adding Latin America and Central America to it. So we're now expanding beyond North America. We have our global office in Bucharest, Romania, and through that office, we are beginning to, you will see us over the now and through the next 18 months, Eastern and Western Europe. That being said, we don't forget about Asia, which we are beginning to grow. So you're going to be seeing us taking a new software product, an Omni Plus product, that allows contact centers to communicate, and we are just going to saturate the entire world with the use of it.
Sounds very exciting, and I think it's a great opportunity for you, but there'll be many clients out there will hear nothing more than the keeping promises and think that's an organization I want to be associated with.
That was a short fragment of the Customer Experience Superheroes podcast with Christopher Brooks. For the whole 30-minute recording, check out the show on any podcast app you like. Catch you next week.